Are you always forgetting things? You can't remember where you put your keys, your wallet, your purse, your cell phone. You can't remember addresses, names, appointments. Don't worry, there is hope. You don't have a bad memory, you just need to learn how to use it properly. That's according to my guest today, memory expert Pete Siegel. He's going to tell you how to remember where you put those car keys. Pleasure to have you here today, Pete.
Nice to see you.
And I'm telling you, for me, it is my BlackBerry. I lose this damn thing all the time.
Okay.
I need it chained to me, Pete.
Okay.
What do I do?
Well, did you hear what you just said? I lose this damn thing all the time.
Yep.
Okay? Many people who have remembering problems talk themselves into memory deficiency, okay, by the kinds of ideas and suggestions that they continually project through their minds. I have a hard time remembering things. Oh, I can't remember that. Oh, I keep forgetting things. Subconsciously, those ideas are taken literally, and you create further problems for yourself on remembering things that are easy. Why? Your subconscious mind stores every single thing that you've experienced since birth. Every single thing that you've experienced since birth is in a specific neural pathway in your brain.
So the more times I say, I lose everything.
I lose
that's
this
what's
damn
getting
thing.
stored
That's
in
what
there.
your subconscious is taking as a literal command. Okay, Greg, so you want us to lose things? Fine. That's what we'll give to you. All right? Now, if you were to say to yourself something like, I have a good, strong, healthy, functional mind.
I have a good, strong, functioning, healthy mind.
Healthy mind. And I remember where I put my things.
And I remember where I put that damn
All right,
BlackBerry.
now, if you can say that confidently and calmly, you'll find unconsciously where you left your BlackBerry will begin to unfold in your awareness.
Well, you know, I always try to retrace my steps. So I'll stand there and think, okay, well, I remember I had it in my car, it was in my hand, or in the key, or, you know, the bedroom or the kitchen or something, or I try to retrace my steps.
You know, what you just did was you visually referenced, okay? In your mind, you were seeing images of yourself retracing your steps, weren't you? Okay. And so retracing steps is a conscious mechanism. It has to do with unconscious presumption, okay? Unconscious presumption, which means if you begin to understand that you do have a good, functional, healthy memory capacity and let that idea enter into your subconscious mind, the understanding and the awareness of where it is will unfold to you. Let me show you what I mean by unconscious presumption.
Sure.
Without thinking, your subconscious reacts based upon what it presumes. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Left-handed.
All right, hold your left hand out straight like this.
Okay.
Watch my hand. I'm going to hit it into your palm.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Okay.
Oh.
Put your hand down. Did you think move? No. It just happened.
Right.
Based on unconscious presumption. And so if you have the unconscious presumption that you have a strong, healthy, efficient memory capacity, and you communicate that idea to yourself, then where things are, where you left them, will immediately unfold to you, rather than consciously trying to figure out, consciously trying to reason using understanding and logic. Let where the memory in your unconscious is unfold to you. It's a very simple process.
Okay.
Memory does not have to be difficult. The information is there. If you consciously try to remember it, force yourself, you put pressure on yourself and you constrain the mental function. You constrain the subconscious flow.
So
I know you're getting this. I can see.
So it isn't just something you do when you lose things. You should be doing this before you lose the things.
Well, why do people lose things? Because they're not focused and they're not attentive on where they left it. Here, a classic example is, have you ever locked your car keys in your car?
I have been known to do that on
and you forgot
occasion.
where. Why do you do that? Because your mind is like 15 steps ahead of where your body's actually is. You get out of your car, you have an important thing, a meeting to go to, a show to do, you're enthused about it, you're excited, you totally forget you leave your
Time to
keys
call
in your car.
AAA.
Right, but you see, if you stay with yourself and you stay in the moment and you become more aware, awareness is critical. People are mentally 100 yards ahead of where they are
Racing
physically.
everywhere, yep.
And then why? That's right, they're racing around. They're putting harried emotions through their system. Anxiety, rush, have to do it, pressure, stress. And you think you're going to be able to retain information on where your car keys are, where you left your wallet, where you left your BlackBerry, where you left your cell phone. That's why things get lost. So you need to become congruent in the moment, which means focus on what you do while you do it. Now I'm in my car. Now I'm taking my keys out of my car. Now I'm closing my car door. Stay with yourself each step of the way.
Okay.
It's not going to slow you down going to your next appointment. It's going to make what you do that much more efficient.
Because you should see me when I lose the BlackBerry. So I'm trying to retrace my steps, and then or my keys, and I can't find them. So I'll go back and I think, okay, well I knew I had them in my hand, and I set them on my bed or something. So, but then when they're not there, and then like I have to go through like 10 times through the same place trying to find it, and eventually like they're in the bottom of the shoe in my gym bag or something.
Okay. And how do you find that at the bottom of the shoe? When you
There's
stop
a frustration
trying to find
level,
it,
yeah.
that's when you do, right? When you stop trying to find it,
Yeah.
and you take the pressure off yourself.
Because the frustration level does get a little high. You know, and I'm not the kind of, I've heard people tell me that like they start throwing things or they get violent. I'm not that way. If I lose it, I get frustrated because I'm usually on the way to something, but I don't get violent or something. But I've actually heard people tell, like they'll start throwing things or get pissed off, or
that's
I just
the
get more
frustration level.
Yeah.
Where is this? Where did I leave it already?
Yeah.
Where the hell is this thing? Okay, but that's when you amplify it like that. You're not going to find it that way.
So that's not helping.
Absolutely not. Calm, relaxed confidence.
Okay.
Subconscious, unconscious presumption. Communicate to yourself. Okay, my BlackBerry is somewhere. Okay, I'll retrace my steps, and then if I knew where I left it, I'd say it would be either A, B, or C. And then if it doesn't come to you immediately, you talk to the BlackBerry the way you would talk to a person. Tell me where you are. I know you're somewhere. I have a comfortable, healthy, efficient memory capacity, and I remember what it is I need to know. If you keep saying that, you'll stop thinking about, oh, I've lost it in the past, therefore you're making an association of what? I'm prone to what? Lose it again. Right. You make these generalized assumptions. Assumptions.
What do you think of the clapper? You know, like that, to find it? Maybe I should have a clapper.
Oh, the clapper? Clap
That's
on,
not an
clap
acceptable,
off, the clapper. No,
yeah.
Your subconscious is a clapper. Again, everything that you do every second of your life since birth is stored in neural pathways of your brain. That's why here, do you remember what year you got your driver's license? Do you remember what year you graduated high school?
Barely. Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember that.
That's because you have an issue with age, apparently, and you don't want to say, well, it was...
well, I remember it was about 85 I graduated from high school. I don't remember what age I got. I guess it was 83. I would have had my driver's license for 2 years before that. So I guess.
So you have...
No, it's 89.
There was no pressure to retrieve that information. Do you remember what you had for breakfast this morning?
Yeah, a couple of donuts in the kitchen.
Okay. You remember what you had for breakfast yesterday?
I'd have to think, yeah.
Okay, you remember the first time you had sex and what the name of that person was?
You know what?
Yes
Speaking of that,
no?
that's the perfect moment for the commercial break. We'll be right back with Pete Siegel. I'll tell you during the break. Well, I think I managed to forget the question you asked me before the break. So...
Do you want me to ask you again?
Well, since Captain Meryl Getline is joining us here, I think she has some memory issues. Maybe we can work on her issues today.
I just wanted to demonstrate that you do have sufficient memory recall because you remembered the questions I asked you. So if you can remember things like that, where your BlackBerry is really not a challenge at all.
Okay. So what's your memory issue, Captain Getline? And by the way, welcome back to the show.
Thanks very much.
Good to
nice
have
to
you
see
back
you, Greg.
again.
My memory issues, it's all little stuff, and it makes me furious. And I'm one of those people that may have let out a blood-curdling scream or two when I can't find my stuff, and I know I left it there.
I hear you on that
yeah, so that's a big issue with me. I forget stuff every day.
But as I said to you in that email, though, you do remember where the plane's going, though, right?
What plane? Where am I? Usually, yes.
Okay. So, Pete, how could you help her out?
Okay, so tell me what kinds of things you tend to lose or forget.
Well, when I came out to Palm Springs from Denver for the show, I had to go catch a plane. I had a briefcase to carry. I never carry a briefcase. All I have is my purse. I set my briefcase down for one lousy instant and drove off without it. So,
okay, so it sounds like there's a structure that you used to follow as a pilot, wearing a uniform, what things you had to carry, and it seems like anything extra beyond that is not something that's lodged subconsciously, so there's a tendency to forget it.
It seems ridiculous that outside the checklist, I'm kind of a...
Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's irritating.
So if I could give you a strategy right now that would make it more efficient in terms of how you thought, how disciplined your thought was and your thinking was, so that you were aware of what you needed to be aware of, how would that change things for you?
That would be great, and it would relieve my husband a great deal as well.
Well, tell me, has there ever been a time when in your life when you felt totally mentally sharp, mentally focused, mentally precise, mentally attuned to a degree to where you were aware of every single thing going around you, even to possibly a degree where you knew what someone was going to say before they even said it. Have you ever had a time of that kind of intense mental focus?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just let your eyelids close down now. And I'd like you to recall that time in your mind right now. And you can imagine it as if it's a scenario playing out on a large white movie screen. Mm-hmm. And when and if you see this clearly in your mind, just gently nod your head yes to let yourself know you're experiencing that. Mm-hmm. Now, as I tap your forehead, what I want you to do is make this picture brighter, make it clearer, make it more distinct and three-dimensionally graphic as it's playing out on this large white movie screen. And as you imaginatively bring it even closer and closer toward you right now, I want you to see it even clearer, more distinct, and more vivid, and bring it even closer and closer so that it seems as if it's right in front of your face, as if you can reach out and touch it. And so what I want you to do now is imaginatively step into the picture and into your body. And feeling the ground beneath your feet, heart beating in your chest, I want you to think exactly what she thinks, exactly the way she thinks it. Noticing the images that accompany those types of thoughts, how strong, definitive, organized, and confident those thoughts are. Think that way right now. That's good. And now I want you to feel exactly what she feels, where she feels it, and how she feels it. Perhaps becoming aware that as you focus on this feeling, it's beginning to amplify, magnify, and more efficiently, freely flow through you from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. Thinking the way she thinks, feeling exactly what she feels. That's right. And what I want you to do now is say to yourself exactly what she says to herself, using the exact words and voice tonality that she does. How does she internally communicate? What's her internal dialogue? Say these things to yourself exactly the way she does, smoothly, confidently, and efficiently right now, as you continue to see what she sees, feel what she feels, and now you're inwardly communicating. I want you to breathe exactly the way she breathes. Deep, thorough, confident, organized, effortlessly efficient breaths. And as you're seeing what she sees and feeling what she feels, inwardly communicating the way she does in breathing, I want you to pinch your right thumb and index finger together firmly. That's right. And I want you to now think of one single word that to you represents yourself, the embodiment of this organized, disciplined, efficient thinker. And when you've come up with that singular word, gently nod your head yes, and I want you to mentally, silently say it to yourself 3 times consecutively. That's it. And I want you to hear yourself communicate it with authority, passion, and directness. And so your unconscious now is developing the understanding that when Meryl pinches her thumb and forefinger together and breathes the way the organized, efficient, confident thinker breathes and says this key word, automatically the feeling of being in control, of being mentally alert, being mentally astute, and being in control continually expands and fuels her decisions, her thoughts, and her actions. And so now what I want you to do is, keeping your fingers pinched, I want you to go back to the last time you forgot something, that briefcase incident. But this time, I want you to step into the picture as this part of yourself. And I want you to begin to notice how things are different. From the time you decide it's time to get my things, it's time to get my gear, it's time to get my belongings because I have a trip to go to. And how you think differently. And how you feel differently. And what you're aware of that you didn't think you could be aware of before, and how smoothly, easily, comfortably, and efficiently you just naturally do what you need to until it all gets efficiently done. That's right. And now, keeping your fingers together, out loud I want you to repeat after me. I have a strong, healthy, capable mind.
I have a strong, healthy, capable mind.
I know exactly where I leave my things.
I know exactly where I leave my things.
I know exactly how to organize myself.
I know exactly how to organize
myself. And to
myself.
get done exactly what I need to.
And to get it done exactly what I need to.
And so very, very slowly, you can begin to very slowly unpinch your fingers now. As your unconscious continues to absorb and integrate all of this new understanding, let your attention focus on your breathing. I'll count from 1 up to 3. I'll tap your forehead, let your eyelids open. You'll be back in the room, comfortable, relaxed, easy, and you'll be able to give a detailed report on how that was for you and what you now anticipate as changes you'll experience. All right, number 1, 2, 3. Eyelids open now. Feel the chair beneath you.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. It was quite a trip.
And tell us how that was.
What did you just go through?
Well, I actually put myself in a place as a pilot, not surprisingly, since that's kind of my whole life, but there was one particular check ride I took where I couldn't do anything wrong, and pilots have this thing called situational
Say it differently.
awareness.
Say, I did everything exactly right.
I did everything exactly
right.
Okay. I did everything exactly right. The situational awareness that pilots are supposed to have isn't always there, and it's got to be there, and it's got to be there in the personal life too. So the word, do you want another word?
You know what? No.
Not really?
You keep it.
All
That's
right.
your word.
It's a good word, but I'll keep it.
Now, does she have to do this again, or is that one time enough, or do you have to keep
I would
doing
do it.
this?
See, now you watch what happens. With your eyelids open, pinch your fingers, breathe the way that organized thinker breathes, and just say your keyword to yourself silently. What's the feeling you immediately feel?
Yeah. I feel
What's the feeling?
strong and competent.
How is that different than normal?
Flighty and disorganized.
So tell us, do you think it's more advantageous for you to feel confident, strong, and focused? And if you feel that way, the likelihood of you remembering what to take will just take care of itself.
I think it is very likely I won't be forgetting anything anytime soon.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
So you're associating that with the pinching the fingers and...
It's called an anchor, Greg. It's an activation cue. So that now what we did was sensitize her nervous system with the idea that I have a competency, an efficiency, and a success capacity that I was letting lay dormant. I used it as a pilot. It was already there. So what we did was we connected with that neural pathway in her subconscious, and we brought it over into remembering to take her purse or her briefcase, or taking your car keys out of your car, or before you leave your house, make sure your keys are with you, that kind of thing. And so from now on, she can use that as a tool. This is what I do with pro athletes. I have been doing it for almost 3 decades before they, during the Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup, major PGA events, they connect with that pure player part of themselves, the success capacity part of themselves.
So is it you tell them like you are going to win, or I will win, or something, or you?
I am the winner.
I am the winner.
It's always in the present. So now when she pinches her thumb and she says her keyword and breathes the way the successful, efficient part of her breathes, that feeling of being in control automatically unfolds. And that's what's going to direct her thoughts, feelings, and decisions every time she organizes her belongings.
All right. Well, you'll have to let me know how this goes.
I will.
We may have made a major change here today.
I hope so. It's a nightmare losing stuff all the time.
Well, see, what do you think's going to happen now?
I don't think I will be doing that
What do
anymore.
you think you will be doing?
I think I will be putting stuff and knowing exactly where I put it.
See?
It'll be
How
there when I get
confidently
there.
she said that? And I'm telling you, when we spoke earlier, there was a sort of iffiness, wasn't there? A
absolutely.
tentativeness. Now there's definitiveness, and that's always what I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to let me know. I'm going to keep tabs
will.
on her. We'll be right back with member expert Pete Siegel. We are back with memory expert Pete Siegel. You will remember where you put those car keys today, thanks to Pete. And what's your name?
I forgot. Pete Siegel, there you go. I just did the process on myself.
You were just showing us the in-zone subconscious recall process with
Yes,
Captain Catline?
Exactly. Okay. And now she has a capacity to access the efficient thinker part of herself, and she can connect with that part before any kind of situation where she would be prone to leave things or forget things or misplace things. So in other words, you pre-prime yourself for success and effectiveness before the negative occurs.
Before
that way,
happens.
that's how you completely
Instead of
diffuse,
trying to think of where
dealing with
you-
the effects
yeah.
of where is it, you create a new cause of, now I'm someone who remembers what to do, what to take, and where my belongings are. Change the cause, Greg. Just don't deal with the effect.
Okay, love that. And now you also have a technique for remembering names, the 3-step name lock-in process.
Okay. Now, people, it's very awkward if you see someone that you've met before and you, hi, how are you? And you don't have a clue what their name is. And you say, you know what? What's your name again? They have a different perception of you.
You're standing there thinking, do I know you?
Exactly. Well, here's
Who
how
are
you
you?
can lock it in right up front. So let's say that we just met, and I would say to you, hi, what's your name?
Pete Siegel. Greg Mantell.
Greg? Your name is Greg. It's
Yes.
great to meet you. Okay, Greg, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Okay? And then, as I stop shaking your hand, in my mind, I just said your name twice as I was making physical contact with you and looking directly at you.
Okay.
And now in my mind, I say, your name is Greg. Your name is Greg. So 4 times in a very short proximity, I've said your name and I've locked it in with the visual of who you are, and I've made physical contacts. So the physical contact stimulates your nervous system to lock the information in more deeply.
So you say it twice out loud
You say,
into yourself.
I'm sorry, you say it like this. What is your name?
Greg Mantell.
Greg, it's a pleasure to meet you. Really good to meet you, Greg.
Likewise.
I've
Pleasure.
said it twice.
Okay.
And then when I release your hand, I say, your name is Greg. In my mind,
In your
silently,
mind, 4
your
times.
name is Greg. So 4 times. The next time I see you, there's no way you can forget your name. You're going to remember it.
Okay, now let me ask you, do you do this yourself? Do you really do this?
I don't
like
need
when
to
you,
at this point.
Okay.
I have a
So you
photographic
don't, okay, that's a
memory.
good, so you don't forget
But
things.
there was a time when, yes, I had to develop these techniques because I had to meet, I work with professional athletes and powerhouses in business and entertainment all the time. And between agents, managers, attorneys, staff people, entourages, there's so many people's names that I had to remember.
Yep.
It became overwhelming. So I had to develop a way to become more efficient at doing that because some people get very offended if you don't remember their name. So why should you let something like that ruin a life opportunity if you can develop a technique to remember someone's name?
I just try to talk around it. Like, you know, you think
But
of
you
every
feel
way you
awkward,
can.
don't you?
Yeah, you're like,
is it
hey,
Ed?
you,
No, Steve, that's right, Steve, how are you? So that's the 3-step name lock-in process. Very efficient, very easy to do, and it enable you to remember people's names forever.
Well, what about these brain foods you were telling me about? Will that help?
The all-important brain foods. Definitely, okay, and there's been a lot of scientific research on it. There are 3 major categories. The first are antioxidant nutrients, such as vitamin C, E, and beta-carotene.
Okay.
They are involved in protecting brain cells from the free radical damage that occurs from environmental pollution. Now, as we intake environmental pollution into our systems through, for example, heavy metals and chemically treated tap water, air pollution, car exhausts, industrial waste, and exposure to tobacco smoke. But then the chemicals, the pesticides and herbicides and insecticides and steroids that find its way into the produce, the fruit, meat, and poultry that we ingest. These free radicals, which are damaging, unstable molecules, become instigated and they attack brain cells, and they have a decaying, breakdown, and destructive effect. Antioxidants literally act as cellular suits of armor which protect the brain cells. So vitamin C, which you'll find in, for example, oranges, grapefruits, but also kale and asparagus. Kale is a very rich source of vitamin C, as well as being incredibly rich in beta-carotene.
I was going to ask you about spinach with all that controversy about spinach.
Now don't ask me about it.
We'll
E.
leave that off the
coli,
list,
don't give me a lawsuit here. So, and then vitamin E, you get a mixed tocopherol because gamma tocopherol has been indicated in brain function and memory enhancement. And beta-carotene is very, very important in terms of brain function well into your senior years. And foods rich in beta-carotene include all the red foods, which would be, for example, watermelon, cranberries, tomatoes, strawberries, cherries, and orange foods. Sweet potatoes, carrots. And one of the best sources of antioxidants is blueberries. I encourage people to eat blueberries every day. Put them on your cereal, on your Raisin Bran, mix them in with your oatmeal, and have a dessert instead of having, junk food dessert.
Have dessert. I like this guy.
Have dessert with non-fat yogurt and mix blueberries and strawberries into it. That's the first category. The second category are the B-complex vitamins. Okay. Of particular importance is folic acid, which in combination with B6 and B12 help manufacture and release chemicals into the brain called neurotransmitters. Serotonin, epinephrine, and dopamine. The nervous system relies on these neurotransmitters to communicate messages within the brain, such as those related to hunger, mood, sleep, information accessing, and retrieval. So B-complex vitamins are essential for neurotransmitter production, which is essential for brain function. So you can go to any health food store, get a B-complex. I take at least 100 milligrams a day that has folic acid, B6, and B12 in it. That's the second guy. The third category are omega-3 fatty acids.
Omega-3.
Which the brain uses to reinforce health and flexibility of cell membranes or the cell wall. If the cell walls of brain cells get too brittle, or if they get too slushy and gel-like, the cell can't maximize its ability to take in the vital nutrients that it needs for efficient functioning. And if you don't protect your cell membrane and cell walls through efficient nutrition, for example, omega-3 fatty acids, you can depend on a steady decline in brain function and memory efficiency the older you get.
That doesn't sound good.
No, omega-3 fatty acids are found in most fish, for example, shark and swordfish, halibut, and cod, but there are 2 fish that are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, yellowfin tuna and salmon. And you could also, I eat fish 4 times a week, and you could also go to the health food store and get the gel caps of omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay. I have to ask you this, because I love chocolate, and you hear sometimes that chocolate is good for you or good for your brain. Is that true? Is chocolate good stuff?
You know, it depends what kind of chocolate they eat. If it's loaded with processing and sugar and chemicals, like milk chocolate, no. The dark chocolate has some brain effects, but raw dark chocolate, yes, does have some brain enhancing chemicals and properties. But you can't just say, I'm going to eat chocolate and have, you know, a greater brain function. If you stay with the three main categories that I said, which are the antioxidants, B-complex vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids, those are the brain foods that will ensure that your memory and your brain function remains at their peak.
Terrific. And don't forget that. Thank you very much, Captain Meryl
thank
Getline,
you.
for being our volunteer. Thank you very
Greg,
much,
pleasure
Pete,
to
for
be here,
helping
buddy.
me remember.
Yep.
Pete's book is Building Super Confidence, and his CD, he
goes with
works
the
with the
book.
professional athletes. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.